While pumping gas alone at night, a woman in the next car rolled down her window and whispered, "Don't look, but he's been parked behind you since the highway." It was just past 10 p.m. and the station was empty except for me, the woman at the next pump, and whatever was sitting in the dark at the far edge of the lot. I hadn't even noticed the car until she said it. I kept my eyes forward and reached for the pump handle like I hadn't heard anything. "How long?" I said, barely moving my mouth. I clocked him around exit 14. That's 40 miles. My stomach dropped. I hadn't looked in my mirror once. I was tired. I was thinking about getting home. I was thinking about everything except the black sedan idling 20 feet behind my bumper with its lights off. "Did you call anyone?" I asked. "I'm calling now. Just keep pumping." She already had her phone pressed to her ear. I pulled up $15 of gas and kept my back to him. I didn't know what else to do. Running felt wrong. Getting in my car felt wrong. So I just stood there watching the numbers climb and trying to breathe. Then I heard a door. My whole body went rigid. I didn't turn around. I heard footsteps on gravel. Slow. Deliberate. Like someone who wasn't in a hurry because they didn't need to be. The woman at the next pump made eye contact with me over the roof of her car and shook her head once. "Don't move." But the footsteps kept coming. "Ma'am." A man's voice. Low and conversational. "You having car trouble?" I turned around then because I didn't have a choice. He was about 6 feet away. 40s. Jacket. Hands in his pockets. "I'm fine," I said. "Just getting gas." He smiled. "You sure? You've been standing there a while. The pump is slow." My voice sounded steadier than I felt. He looked at the nozzle in my hand, then back at me. "Your light was on. Back there on the highway. Been meaning to tell you since exit 14 but couldn't get up beside you." I stared at him. He shrugged. "Didn't want you getting pulled over. My sister got a fix-it ticket last month. $60. I couldn't tell if it was real or if this was how it started. I couldn't tell anything." I glanced at the woman. She had stopped talking into her phone. She was just watching. "Thank you," I said. "I appreciate it." He nodded and walked back to his car without another word. I watched him climb in. He didn't look at me again. A minute later, he pulled out and was gone. My hands were shaking. I hung up the nozzle and walked over to the woman. She was standing outside her car now, arms crossed, watching the road where he'd turned off. "You think he was telling the truth?" I asked. She was quiet for a second. Then she looked at me. "Check your brake light." I walked around to the back of my car. I pressed the brake through the open door. The right side lit up clean and red. The left side was dark. "It's out," I said. She nodded slowly. "Then yes." She paused. "Probably." I stood there in the cold with the pump smell still on my hands and tried to figure out how to feel about that word. Probably. She got back in her car and I watched her pull away. Then I was alone at the pump again, same as when I'd arrived, except now I was staring at a dead brake light and thinking about all 40 miles I hadn't been paying attention. I got in my car and sat there for a moment before starting it. I checked my mirrors. The lot was empty. The road behind me was empty. Then my phone lit up with a notification from the tracking app I forgot I'd installed 6 months ago after my last breakup. Location shared. Someone had opened it. From his account. The one I thought he'd stopped using. The pin was sitting exactly on this gas station.